only ones who can do this.
The movie begins with Zach Cooper and his mother Gail, who just moved to Madison, Delaware after his father passed away to start a new life. Upon arriving at their new house, Zach feels like someone is spying on him from the house next door. He ignores the mysterious guy and walks into the house, where his Aunt Lorraine suddenly appears and greets them. She also gives Zach a bedazzled hat as a welcome gift to the town. He reluctantly wears it, as his mom forces him to do so. When Zach is unloading the boxes from the car, a teenager from the house next door named Hannah greets him from the window. However, her rude dad suddenly intervenes and warns Zach to stay away from his daughter for no reason. Gail accidentally picks up an old picture of his husband from the box, which makes Zach reminiscing sweet memories with his father. The next day, Zach attends high school, where his mother, surprisingly, will be the new vice principal of the school. All students gather at the basketball court to welcome her, where Zach meets his first friend, Champ. The same time, Gail gives an opening speech, but it seems like the students don't feel happy about her presence. Back at his new house, Zach is taking out the trash when Hannah startles him by sneaking in from the broken fence. He asks her about fun places in the town. Thus, she guides him to the woods across the street. They eventually arrive at an abandoned amusement park, where the pair climb the Ferris wheel and sit on one of the carts with a nice view of the town. When they arrive home, Hannah's father confronts Zach and gives him a final warning or something bad will happen. Still that evening, Zach overhears Hannah arguing with her dad, who prohibits her from seeing Zach again. From a distance, it seems like the father loses control and Hannah suddenly screams, which makes Zach panic and immediately runs to Hannah's house. The father tells the boy not to interfere with their family business and shuts the door afterwards. Afraid that Hannah might be in trouble, Zach calls 9-1-1. Two rookie officers, Steve and Brooks, show up with Gail and Zach and question the father. He claims that he lives there alone at the moment, as Hannah just flew to London the day earlier. Suddenly, they hear another scream, which turns out to be coming from a movie. As no proof of domestic violence is found, the officers leave the house while warn Zach about the penalty for filing a false report. Gail has to chaperone the dance at school and asks Lorraine to take care of Zach. Realizing that the argument is still happening, Zach asks for Champ's help, who is coincidentally passing by to accompany him after he disguised as a cop, and orders Hannah's father to go to the police station by phone. As soon as the father drives away, they sneak into the house through the basement full of bear traps and go upstairs. The two come across a bookcase filled with locked manuscripts of old Goosebumps stories, all of which were written by a man called R.L. Stine. Zach discovers a key and unlocks one of the books, The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. Soon after, Hannah confronts them and learns that they have unlocked a book. Zach accidentally opens the book, summoning an enormous, abominable snowman into the room. Champ drops the lamp, which catches the beast's attention. It destroys the bookcase while running towards Champ. Luckily, he is rescued by Zach and the beast escapes. Hannah grabs the book and the trio chase after the snowman. Meanwhile, one of the manuscripts unlocks by itself. Hannah, Champ, and Zach follow the beast to a skating rink, where the snowman suddenly appears from the scoreboard with the candy vending machine. The monster spots them just before Hannah prepares to suck it back into the book and attacks them. Zach manages to toss the book out of the arena to prevent the snowman getting the book. It eventually corners them and tries to destroy the glass, but Hannah's father appears from behind and sucks the beast back into the book. He then furiously orders the teenagers to get into the car. On their way, Zach and Champ eventually realize that Hannah's father is actually R.L. Stine, the author of the Goosebumps stories, who disappeared a long time ago. Upon arrival, Stine orders the boys to return home while he starts packing his stuff to move to another town again. However, they insist on staying and urge Stine to explain what is actually happening. He reveals that he created his own friends to terrorize his neighborhood since he was not allowed to leave the house, and they bullied him for that. He adds that one day the creatures from the books became real, thus he had to lock them them inside. Stein walks to the bookcase to gather all the books, but he then finds out that one of the evilest creatures, Slappy, has leapt off from the book. He burns his own book so that Stein cannot put him back into custody again. Slappy takes all the books and unleashes several horrifying creatures along the way, which haunt the entire town. Because of the invasion, the town's communication has been brought down. On the other hand, Stein and the teenagers run to the kitchen, only to find a horde of murderous dwarfs ready to attack them. They attempt to smash the dwarfs into pieces, but are overwhelmed when the dwarfs keep putting their pieces back together, forcing them to flee to the basement and escape from the house. Stein and the others find all the books have been burned to prevent the creatures from being sucked back. Back to Slappy, he brings two aliens to the police station, where they freeze the rookie officers with their fancy weapons. Stein and the teenagers arrive at the center of the town, where the creatures have caused a total mess. Zack suggests that Stein write a new manuscript that tells a story to capture all the creatures. Stein initially refuses and underestimates Zack's idea, but then realizes that there is no other way to save the town. Before that, they drive to Zack's high school, where Stein's magical typewriter is hidden. On their way, they are confronted by an invisible creature called the Invisible Boy. Luckily, they manage to kick him out of the car. They also come across a giant praying mantis that attempts to attack them. The car eventually rolls over and the mantis crushes the empty car. They retreat into the supermarket, where they find a wild werewolf craving meat. As usual, Champ makes some noises, causing the monster to notice them and start chasing them. Stein sprays perfume on his body to cover his scent, but it doesn't work. The beast goes after the humans, who manage to escape through the supermarket's back door. But the monster easily breaks the door and corners them until Lorraine arrives and hits them. Werewolf with her car, Zack commands Lorraine to report the situation to the police, while the group continues to head toward the high school through a shortcut. Lorraine runs into the police station and finds no one. Suddenly, Slappy shows up and freezes her as well. While passing through the cemetery, the moonlight shines on Hannah, revealing that Hannah is actually not real. Zack realizes that, but says nothing to her. Suddenly, ghouls and zombies rise from the grave and start terrorizing them. They manage to run away from the cemetery and lock the creatures inside. They make it to the school, and Zack immediately confronts Stein about Hannah. Stein admits that Hannah is one of his creations, and both men are afraid of losing her. They find the typewriter, and Stein begins writing while the teenagers buy him some time. They arrive at the hall where the dance takes place, and Zack climbs on stage to warn everyone about the emerging monsters. But no one believes him, and they even laugh at him, until the giant mantis breaks through the ceiling and captures a teacher. Everyone starts running for their lives and seals off the exit door for safety, while Slappy keeps unleashing more and more creatures. After the army is formed, Slappy gives the monsters a mission: get rid of Stein. The creatures break into the school and start attacking the students and staff. The werewolf gets into the corridor and almost attacks Champ's crush until the hero shows up and bites the werewolf with his silver filings. His crush is impressed with Champ's bravery and rewards him with a kiss. Meanwhile, Slappy eventually locates Stein and breaks his fingers before he can finish the story. Zack and Hannah grab the typewriter, but are attacked by a murderous plant while running through the corridor. The students and staff gather at the basketball court while the monsters try to break in. Realizing the creatures are chasing Stein, Zack comes up with an idea to lure the creatures out of the school using a decoy school bus and explosives from the chem lab to blow them up and buy time. Stein and the teenagers return to the abandoned amusement park and hide in the House of Mirrors. Not long after, Slappy follows them into the fun house and chastises Stein for locking him up in the book. He then unleashes the blob that ate everyone. Stein hands over the book, pages and handwriting to Zack so he can finish the final line just before he gets caught by the slimy monster. The teenagers climb the Ferris wheel, and Zack eventually manages to finish the story as the monsters crawl toward them. The giant mantis attacks the Ferris wheel, causing it to break and roll through the woods. The teenagers arrive at an open space, and Hannah orders Zack to open the book. He initially refuses because he will lose Hannah too, and he is not ready for that. It turns out Hannah already knows the truth about herself, and she opens the book for him, creating a huge portal that pulls all the monsters back into the book. Slappy holds onto Stein for a while until Stein kicks him, and he FLIs back into the book. Finally, Hannah Hannah, in her blue transparent form, gives a last kiss to Zack before slowly being pulled back into the book. Afterward, the town begins recovering from the massive damage, and the students return to school. Stein becomes the new English teacher at Zack's school. After class, Stein surprises Zack by bringing Hannah back to life. He then burns the manuscript so the couple can stay together. The new teacher goes to check his magical typewriter and discovers that the invisible boy was not sucked back into the book. He starts typing a manuscript titled, The Invisible Boy's Revenge. The creature greets Stein as he screams in fear. Want a part 2? Drop a comment below and let us know. If you have a movie you want us to summarize next, suggest it in the comments and we'll cover it as soon as possible. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.